Good morning, viewer. Welcome to our First TV USA. Here's the breaking news. Yes, undiplomat. Ukrainian envoy makes German leaders uncomfortable about relations with Russia. Ukrainian ambassador Andriy Melanek appears to have a split personality. On German TV talk shows, he is composed and soft-spoken as he speaks impeccable German. Patiently, he explains why Ukraine deserves more weapons and why Germany should exert more pressure on Moscow to end its invasion. On Twitter, however, he is far less diplomatic, reacting with warmth anytime he detects German hypocrisy towards Russia, such as when he received an invite to a Ukraine solidarity concert for last Sunday at Bellevue Palace, the residence of German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. There are only Russians soloists performing, no Ukrainians, he tweeted in capital letters in the midst of the war against civilians. This is an affront. Sorry, I will stay away. The office of the president responded by expressing regrets that the ambassador would not attend. That, however, did not suit Melanek 46. My dear God, he replied, why is it too hard for the German president to realize that as long as Russian bombs are falling on Ukrainian cities and thousands of civilians are being murdered day and night, we Ukrainians don't have any stomach for great Russian culture. The exchange, Melanek reflects, epitomizes the duality of attitudes that some leading German officials continue to maintain towards Moscow on its troops and missiles pummel Ukraine more than a month after Russian President Vladimir Putin launched his unprovoked war. While Germany has acted in concern with the US and its other fellow NATO members in providing arms to Ukraine and scaling back most trade with Russia, Melanek suggests that there is more than missing tact and sensitivity when it comes to leaders such as Steinmeier. There remains, he suspects, a thoroughly disguised affection for Russia that has not or cannot be overcome. The president of Germany is not ready to admit any of his huge personal responsibility for the future of Berlin's Russia policy mistake, he said in an interview. Even in times of such where he wants to build new bridges with Russia, it clearly sends a clandestine signal to Moscow. Once the war is over, we are still here. We keep the flag flying. We will restore the German-Russian historic ties. Steinmeier, twice a German foreign minister and long-time confidant of former Chancellor and Nord Stream 2 pipeline executive Gerhard Schröder, has for years been seen as one of the architects of Germany's cozy relations with Russia. He brokered a peace agreement dubbed the Steinmeier formula between Russia and Ukraine's former Moscow-friendly administration after Putin's 2014 invasion of Crimea and of the eastern Ukrainian Donbas region. For years, Steinmeier could be sure that his soft stance on Russia had the support of the German political establishment. The mantra, no peace in Europe without Russia, was a predominant guideline of Berlin's foreign policy. Following the line meant frequently looking the other way at Putin's suppression of political opponents and the media, and his support of Syrian President Bashar Assad in bombing his own cities with Russian air assistance. It was not until 2020 when then Chancellor Angela Merkel turned a corner, helping Putin critic Alexei Navalny receive medical assistance in Germany after his presumed poisoning by Russian intelligence agent. Mary-Ange struck Zimmermann, a high-profile politician of the Liberal Party, FDP, that is part of the ruling coalition, summed up Germany's past policies in bitter world. Putin's war was a very harsh awakening for Europe and especially for us, she said in an interview with the German news agency DP. I think appeasement, which is a policy of constant tolerance of destructive power politics, has completely failed. After Putin launched his invasion of Ukraine in late February, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced that Berlin would finally send weapons to Ukraine and prop up his own underfunded military. German weapons have since begun slowly trickling in, and on Thursday, a Ukrainian delegation spearheaded by former boxing world champion Vladimir Klitschko, the brother of Kyiv's mayor, arrived in Berlin to negotiate more deliveries. Bolstering the German army also seems slow going. Behind the scenes. There is a fight brewing over the wording of law for a 100 billion euro expenditure rather than spending the money as initially promised on the army. The government now wants the funds to generally strengthen alliance and defense capabilities. Ongoing is indicative that the Russia-friendly political wing as well as the German peace movement that makes up influential part of the governing Social Democrats and Greens may not stay silent. A recent survey by the Korver Foundation, a non-profit organization based in Hamburg, seems to back up the sentiment. Although Germany's foreign policy has 67% support, 76% of the public still seeks more independence from US interest. Even now, 14% of German considers close relation with Russia to be more important than with the US. Beyond the report for Shakti USA.